What's up, y'all? It's your girl, My Size Barbie, in the building. And today on my blog, I have someone that I think everybody should know by now. And if you don't know him, you're going to get to know him. We have Guyviaud in the building, a.k.a. Biscuit from Power. And I'm so excited to introduce him today, guys. Guyviaud, thank you for coming.
That was a dope introduction. Ladies and gents, I want to thank you for tuning into My Size Barbie's blog. We appreciate you and for rocking with us. So I'm excited for this interview. Thank you.
I'm excited too.
All right. So
now, first of all, everyone knows you as Biscuit on Power. So as we're on the topic of biscuits, I got a little something for you.
What you mean?
So I feel like since you like taking people biscuits, I'm gonna bring you some Red Lobster biscuits today.
Oh shit!
They're like one of the best biscuits. So this is a present to you from me.
Really? Yo.
You enjoy those later.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
You are the first person that's done something like this.
Well, I thought you would enjoy it. And they smell so good.
Oh my God!
You got about 6
warm.
of them in there.
They're still warm.
They're still warm?
They're warm.
Go ahead, take a. How's that?
Yo. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Enjoy
those later.
Yeah, and later. My bad. I get the hint. I got the hint.
Have those
like
later. Or if you like, you can have it now. This is very.
I'll have it later. I'll have it
This
later.
is not your typical blog, ladies and gentlemen. We like to feed our guests.
I'm greedy like that too, so.
So Guyviaud, as we're here talking about you and your acting career, there's just a few questions I have for you today, and I'm sure everyone out there would love to know.
Of course.
So first off, I would like to know, where did you get your training when you started acting?
Oh, okay. So the first thing I did was I went to an acting school named Louis Baron. They've closed down since, unfortunately, but it's where I first got my start. Jeffrey Ziner was my acting coach, you know, I've had a few different scene partners. I did that for about 2 years, and then after that, I transitioned and started working with Mark John Jeffries, who a lot of people might know as he was in Losing Isaiah. He was in Power as well in the second season. He's just done a lot of work. He has a really long, extensive portfolio of work. So I was training with him for about 1.5 years, close to 2 years, and it was really a great opportunity for me to just play and just be a kid in this field. And then since then, now I'm at Susan Batchen Studios, who's most known for teaching like Juliette Binoche, Nicole Kidman, shouts her out every time she wins an Oscar. Oprah Winfrey works with her directly, only with her. The list goes on and on. Naomi Campbell, Tom Cruise, a lot of Academy Award-winning actors. So
nice.
I wanted to step my game up and get to the level where I feel like I'm worthy of being able to accomplish, you know, getting an award, whether it's the Academy Awards, Oscars, whatever it is. I just really want to be at that level. To me, that's what will solidify me as a legit actor that goes down in history.
Well, if you ask me, you definitely got it already. One thing I do want to mention, ladies and gentlemen. So, of course, we're going to piggyback again to Power, which everyone knows you from.
Yes.
But looking at you now, it's just so interesting. You play a homosexual thug in this show, and you're neither of the two looking at you.
Yeah.
So, how does it feel to have to depict that character?
I think for me, you know, like being an actor this is my passion. I love, you know, being able to create a character and just portray different emotions and having my audience feel something based off my performance. So it wasn't entirely difficult, especially because I didn't have to do anything that was extremely homosexual. Like, it required me getting close to Omari and touching him. You know, a lot of it was implied, and I think that's what makes a lot of people think like, oh, well, he was playing a homosexual role, but technically in prison, this happens all the time, and those types of people don't consider themselves to be homosexual. So in my character, Biscuit's mind, he isn't homosexual, even though he was hitting on this guy. But for me as the actor, Guyviaud, I was comfortable with it because it didn't require me to get physical. There's other things, you know, I've been offered other opportunities or other roles that went a little bit further in that realm, and I kind of had to turn them down. And especially the thug, unfortunately, I play a thug a lot. Like, either I'm playing the thug or I'm on the opposite side of the spectrum and I'm playing a cop. Like,
nice.
Did Blue Bloods 2 weeks ago, I was a cop on Blue Bloods. I've done Gotham, I was a cop on Gotham. And then I'll do a bunch of different web series that will have me playing like the leader of the gang, and you know. So I think all these different elements are part of who people are. We just have to learn how to highlight, how to focus on that, highlight it, and bring it out. Everybody's been pissed off. Everybody's been had that moment where if anybody talks to you, you will smack the shit out somebody. You know,
right.
She just had that moment earlier today at work.
From Brooklyn, guys, from Brooklyn. You know we don't play. But
you know,
I definitely get where you're going with
so
this.
I think what's important for me, I'm able to lock in on that sensation, that moment in time, and just regurgitate it, bring it back when the time comes for, in front of the camera. So it wasn't too difficult. I enjoyed it. I had a ball. Amari was cool. Everybody on set was cool, and I'm grateful for it.
I think that's so dope. But as we're on the topic of roles, has there ever been any role that you had to play where you definitely had to do a drastic change? For example, either lose weight, lose some hair, or had to gain weight. Anything really drastic?
Yes. So for my short film, POV, which I need you to send me your email so I could send it to you.
Definitely will send that email.
So for my film POV, it's about a social injustice that's going on, like the social injustice that's going on with our community between law enforcement and African-American youth. So it looks at one incident of a unarmed African-American being shot by an officer, and we see how it affects the officer, the witness, and the victim, and the victim's families. And so for that role, the director, who is Guyviaud Joseph, my older brother, we had a conversation. He said, I want this officer to be this guy who's just very trained, very specific, and basically I had to be in the best shape of my life. So I spent about 3 months where I was hitting the gym twice a day and just doing what was necessary. And it's not a major part of the character, but it was something that helped to establish a discipline with this guy. And there's a lot of things when you're performing that are like that are just like like layered messages. And so one of the layers was that this guy is just a disciplined gentleman who takes care of himself. So I made it a point to be like in the best physical shape of my life. So that one was pretty dope. I've had to play a project in Miami. I had to play just someone who became an officer, a corrections officer, just to break someone out of prison. And for that one, I just had to do a lot of research in terms of understanding how these COs operate. I think the most fun for me was POV, where I played the officer and I had to be in shape. But I've also done things where I had to play drunk. So I actually went and drank on the weekend and was just like, how do I feel? Let me document this, recorded myself, and made it a point to remember all the key sensations that went throughout me.
I have to say I respect you for that, because I don't think it's an easy job. Like, acting is not just getting in front of the camera and doing a script, saying a script. You definitely have to have the mindset. You definitely have to get physically, mentally ready. And so I think that's so amazing. So you definitely have my props on that.
Thank you.
So are there any actors or actresses that influenced you? And if so, have you ever used their style, or do you find yourself using their style in your career?
Good question. So I was a huge fan of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Oh, I love Fresh Prince.
And
Holla.
Fresh Prince, what it do? And I will never forget the episode when Don Cheadle came on as Will Smith's friend from Philly, and I just immediately, his energy popped off the screen for me, and I was a fan of his since then. So Don Cheadle's somebody that I've followed. I've followed his career a lot. Kevin Spacey, I saw Usual Suspects, and that immediately just registered. It was something with that performance, And Daniel Day-Lewis, great actor. I think those three actors, I truly respect, and I love what they do. I'm a big fan of Oprah. Like, Oprah's just a dope actress to me, and the fact that she could be a mogul. I'm trying to follow her formula to be able to not just be an actor, but to be a business person, to be a brand, because that is how we're able to build wealth and accumulate something for our culture. And I think that's what's important and should be priority for our culture, is accumulating wealth and getting to a level where we're able to show our power without having to boycott everything.
I love that. So my next question to you is, since you've already made it clear that you love Fresh Prince, if you were given that opportunity to work alongside Fresh Prince of Bel-Air,
Will Smith,
aka Will Smith,
Willie Will,
what character do you want to depict? working alongside of him? Because think about all of the movies that he's done.
Great question.
What would be your character?
Okay, I'm gonna wait. Okay, boom. So, that's a great question. So, okay, so there's two different sides of me. I'm a goofball when I'm not being serious, and I love having fun. So, like, I would really enjoy playing alongside Will Smith in like a Wild Wild West of Men in Black. I know Wild Wild West was like, it did not do well at all, but just to be able to play that type of fun character alongside him would be a dream come true. But then I would also like to play a character that just had a lot of layers. So, you know, a gentleman that maybe we see him at the top and then he goes through a demise where he's at the bottom and he has to pick himself back up. Okay. And something like that would be like, just to be able to show that range where I'm on top of the world, maybe cocky and arrogant to some degree, but then I'm humbled because of my situation, my circumstance, and it brings me down, and then I have to build myself back up. I'd love to be able to show that progression, because I feel like a lot of people will relate to that. A lot of people will be able to feel and be empathetic with that character.
Well, Will, I know you're tuned into my blog right now, so check out Guyviaud. Maybe I can work something out.
What up, man? Holla at me.
So, what advice would you give aspiring actors? Also, what advice have you been given, and how have you used that to build yourself to the career state that you are right now?
So, the most important thing I would say for any actor, or in any craft, whether you're an actor, a musician, if you're in some form of art, you're a painter, I think it's important for you to study your craft, hone your craft, because whether it's painting, whether you're making music, whether you're an actor, you're a director, a filmmaker, it's important for you to be able to understand the mechanics of how to create your art, you know, like to understand the technical aspects as well as your instincts, because a lot of times actors that don't have that training, they'll go off their instincts, and some actors don't have great instincts, but there's so much more to that. Right. There's a technical aspect to understanding how the camera reads you. Right. There's also an aspect of understanding how to tap into certain emotions. That's, you know, almost a psychological level to it, sociological level to understanding how people interact. Right. And so the more you study the craft, the more you'll be able to know like what it takes and how to be a stronger performer, how to be an Academy Award-winning actor, an Oscar winner. All these different things are important. And then once you study the craft, I mean, that was the first thing that I was told because I wasn't studying when I first wanted to get in this. Another thing is to enjoy the ride. At the end of the day, even if whether you're doing, you know, when I started off doing this, I spent about the first year and a half, I was just in a bunch of music videos on World Star. Fortunately, I was able to work with Chinks before he passed away. I was in like his last 2 music videos.
R.I.P. to Chinks.
R.I.P. Rest in peace. Rest in paradise. And so I got a chance to meet him, and I got a chance to play an officer, or, you know, I would play a snitch or whatever it was. But I appreciated all those opportunities, and I was grateful for them. Yeah. You know, just because you're not on the level that you want to be at doesn't mean that you shouldn't appreciate what you have.
It's definitely growth.
I think the final thing that I would say is to be in control of your career as opposed to putting someone else in control. Too often, I feel like people are like, oh, well, I need to find a label to sign me. I need to find an agent that'll sign me. Work with what you have. If you're an actor, there's filmmakers all around you that you can easily tap into to be a part of their projects. Whether it's a music video, it might be low budget, but that's okay. You need to pay your dues. You need to learn.
Baby steps.
You know? And so as you're paying your dues, you'll get to the point where you now understand the way a set works, and you'll be ready to be on that major network series. But if you never get to that point where if you can't conquer a no budget music video shoot, and you can't understand the mechanics of how it operates, how are you going to go on a major network show and expect to stomp with the big dogs, so to speak? You know what I mean?
That's very great advice.
So I think it's important for people to, you know, learn the craft and understand the craft, and then create your own work so that you're not putting, you know, other people in power in positions. You know, you're not dependent and reliant on somebody finding you and you're getting your big break. You know, Issa Rae did it. So many names. Ava DuVernay did it. So many names. I mean, you know, did it, and we've seen a success record. Money and Violence did it. You know, a lot of people have done that, so I think we now have the control with this day and age that we live in.